we got a little more hope today from the White House coronavirus task force, Dr. Anthony Fauci, who said we could have a vaccine widely available as soon as January. But with national unemployment claims now topping 30 million since the shutdown began, there are more questions than ever about what we do until that point. Here in Massachusetts, Governor Charlie Baker is relying heavily on contact tracing, and he said today that the state's team has already reached out to about 5,000 people as part of that effort.
We believe this tracing program is a key element toward not only stopping the spread, but also understanding where the virus is, who's been affected, and how we can go about making sure that we contain it. But now, obviously, the really tough stuff begins.
As for when things might start to reopen, the governor appointed an advisory board this week made up of a combination of local government, health, and business leaders to help determine when and how that should happen.
Something we all miss desperately are restaurants. Formal dining is one thing, but you can't even just grab a bite unless it's curbside. And dining out is not always a luxury. It's sometimes a necessity. It's estimated that restaurants are an $800 billion industry nationwide. And according to Mass Live, 261,000 people were working at dining and drinking spots in Massachusetts as recently as February. The Massachusetts Restaurant Association says Massachusetts would normally be hiring about 300,000 workers right now, since it's the start of the tourist season and outdoor dining. While many local restaurants have benefited from the Small Business Administration's Paycheck Protection Program, it might not be enough to save many restaurants. Everyone is familiar with Davio's in Park Square, the flagship restaurant of the nationwide Davio's restaurant group. Its owner, Steve DiFillippo, is now on Governor Baker's advisory board.
And Steve DiFillippo now joins me. Welcome, Steve. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Emily. Sorry my hair is so long, but...
Oh, yeah, how about me?
Heaney on Newbury Street, not happy right now, I'm sure.
Oh, I know, that's just one of the businesses that's in crisis. So the governor said today that the advisory board has hit the ground running. What does that mean? What have you done so far?
We've had a lot of meetings. We keep Zooming all day, and it's been great. A lot of great people have come in, and we're learning a lot, and it's very exciting.
So, I mean, restaurants is one thing. We just talked about, beauty parlors, all that. What do you look at when you say, all right, the restaurant business, what's it going to look like first day it opens, a month into it? Is it a completely different experience?
Well, we actually already do everything right, I think. I mean, when you come to a restaurant, we already have a health department, right? We already have a clean environment. I mean, when was the last time you went to the bank and you saw them wiping down the counter, right? It doesn't happen. But in restaurants, we're good at that. Now, well, what the difference will be, we'll probably be wearing a mask, right? I mean, that's what's going to happen. The server will have a mask, the cooks, the maitre d', the bartender, we're all going to have masks on until there's a vaccine. That's my opinion.
Some of the things that have come up are like having the state buy back liquor licenses. I mean, those things are like a license to steal on the state's part, not on the owner's part. Is that even a feasibility that the state would buy those back?
No, can we just get open and get going? And, everyone has all these doom and gloom kind of things they're talking about. I think the restaurant business is going to come back. I really do. I mean, we are important to this country. People love to eat out. You're one of them. I've seen you in the restaurant a few times, mostly at the bar. But, we need to get back. And I think if we just do what we always done, kept everything clean, sure, maybe we don't have salt shakers anymore, okay? I mean, there's a few things we're going to have to change. But overall, we know what to do. We're good at this. This is what restaurants are here for.
What are some of the other people on the task force talking about when it comes to, like, hair salons and some of the other businesses that might not be as diligent as you are in terms of wiping the counters and all of that?
Well, I think everybody, these last 6 weeks, we've learned a lot, right? I mean, you go into a store now, everyone has the Purell in their pocket. Everyone has a mask. Everyone has gloves. 6 weeks ago, I think it would have been a lot different. But I think we all know what to do. I think it's not going to be such a big deal. I really do. I think we want to get out of our houses so badly, and we want to get back to normality and see our friends. And There's going to be some limitations, obviously, the 6-foot rule, which is very important. We're not going to stop that, I think, for a while. And I think once we all know the rules, it's just going to be like anything else. We're just going to accept it and move ahead.
Steve, you have a successful chain that stretches all over New England, Atlanta. You're a successful businessman. But what about the small guy? What about the one who just owns one restaurant? There are people who are only seasonal restaurants, like on the Cape. They're thinking, I don't know if I can make this. I don't know if I can open in June 15th and then have to shut down again in November because I've got a seasonal license. I mean, what about them?
Well, hopefully their landlords are going to help them, right? I mean, I'm hoping that the insurance companies with business interruption insurance would come and help us. The government needs to back the insurance companies. I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't being done, and that would help those small guys. Believe I need the help too. I don't, we all need it. It's something that has to be done, and I think the landlords, the government, everyone needs to help each other. Or no one's going to come back. I mean, that's how it's going to work.
What have you done for your employees? You're hoping all of them that were full-time employees of you are going to come back? How are you handling them?
I hope so. I mean, we're going to, we're not going to open up all the restaurants the same day. I think I'm going to go over a week or two and open every few days, open one, because I want to be there personally in each one. I want to make sure we get it right. Because in my opinion, it's really about health of not just the people that come through that front door, but our inner guests who come through that back door, our employees. We need to make sure they are 100% safe. And that's something that I am so concerned about. And I think a lot of employers in this city, they have to worry about that. I mean, we just can't let people get sick.
Governor Baker says we're still kind of riding this surge, which means it hasn't abated enough for him to even look into the calendar and decide what day he's going to say the stay-at-home order gets lifted. So how far into the future are you thinking this first restaurant opening might happen?
Well, again, this is just my opinion. I don't think, we'll see what happens with May 18th, but I think it's probably going to be June. I'm hoping June, I mean, it's really about the hospitals, Emily. I mean, as soon as we start seeing less people in the hospitals, less people in ICU, then I think we'll feel like we're in a safer place. I mean, the testing's going to keep going. There's going to be more and more people testing, and the numbers are going to keep rising because we're going to be testing more. The number of the hospital, that's the number we need to be looking at. And I think as that goes down, the hospitals are back to normal, I think we'll be fine. And, again, we have to do some new things with the 6 feet, masks, gloves, constantly cleaning. I think we'll be okay. But, we actually did a little of this before we closed. For the week or two before, we did a lot of this distancing. And it was fine. We didn't have masks. That was the difference. I think when you walk into a restaurant, it is going to be a little weird when everyone wearing masks. But look, you've been to the store today. Everyone's wearing masks, right? 6 weeks ago, no one was wearing masks. And now I think, I live out in the North Shore. I see people riding bikes wearing masks, people running wearing masks. I mean, that's just what we're going to have to do till there's a vaccine. And as you know, we're going to have it quicker than you think. I really do.
I hope you're right, Steve DiFillippo. And I will be one of the first ones back. I promise you that.
I mean, restaurants are important. We need to come back, and we need everybody out there to help us. When we come back, just trust us. We know what to do, and you're going to be safe in a restaurant. I guarantee it.
Great. Thanks, Steve.
Okay. Thank you.